Hey everybody, what's up? So today we're gonna be going over how to get steaks, how to choose the right steak, what types of steak to get, and just overall, buying steak. So we'll go ahead and wait for some people to join, and we'll get started shortly. Hi, what's up? Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? Okay, today we're gonna be going over steak, okay? So I have a variety of steaks here. I'll just go ahead and show some of them. I have a variety of steaks, and we're gonna be going over the different types of steaks. Now, um, we have different types. I know some of you have heard about um, all sorts of different types of steaks. I know uh, some of you have heard of dry age, prime grade, choice grade, Wagyu, American Wagyu A5, and sometimes it gets confusing. There's different types of cuts: Denver, tenderloin, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, Delmonico, picanha, chuck roast, chuck eyes, and all these different types of cuts of steak, and a lot of us aren't familiar with it. It took me quite a while to get familiar with different cuts, and there's still some cuts that I'm discovering um, as I progress more in the food um, world, or in the steak world. So, the average supermarket beef is going to be USDA choice grade. It's what you would find at your average supermarket. And this is a ribeye about 1 inch thick, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. And as you can see, all these like little lines is what we call marbling or intermuscular fat. Um, Intermuscular fat really helps keep a steak nice and juicy, and ribeye is known for that. Now, the ribeye is composed of different muscles. We got the eye of the ribeye, and the ribeye cap, which is the spinalis. I believe this one's called spinalis. I'm not gonna get into that because I don't want to say it wrong. But we have all these different cuts of steak. Um, Now, this is ribeye, so this is one of my favorite cuts personally, and it's what you'll find in most of my videos. It's a super tender, flavorful cut, but it can also be a little bit more on the expensive side depending on where you are. And this is considered more of a premium cut now because it's more desirable ever since, well, this cut has always been desirable just because it's more of a well-known cut, but there's also so many other cuts with more flavor and maybe not as tender, but it is tender. We have different cuts like Denver steaks, which comes from the chuck or the shoulder end, but it has a lot of flavor, and I think that it's a great steak. Now, moving on, right now we're talking about grades of beef. So, what grade of beef you usually have? I know there's choice, there's select, there's premium, there is prime, and there's a lot of other things. The two most well known in any supermarket are going to be choice and prime. I just showed you choice right here, but here we have prime. As you can see, prime has a more dark red color, and the reason why the eye is a little bit brownish is because they're in these vacuum sealed bags. So when you put them in a vacuum sealed bag and you freeze them or store them for a really long time, I have noticed that the outside becomes to oxidize, but I don't think that it's nothing bad, so it should be perfectly fine. As you can see here, prime grade has a deeper red color and also has a lot more intermuscular fat. And I know a lot of you have heard of the term Wagyu, and this kind of looks like Wagyu, if we're going to be completely honest, right? It has a lot of intermuscular fat, but Wagyu is Japanese cattle, and this is just a step up from choice. which is really nice. But again, this is only about 5% of all the cows in the US, 5 or 10%. So this is gonna be a little bit more expensive, prime grade. I know in some butcher shops it's almost double the price. So sometimes even choice has better marbling, so you really have to see and just talk to your butchers. You ask your butchers what they recommend and what's on sale, and that'll really help you out. You know, you're looking a steak usually has grains, has long grain fibers, and it's tender enough that you can chew on it, and it's not too chewy, right? And it has enough intermuscular fat to keep it juicy. So this is a prime ribeye steak. My butcher labeled it as a Delmonico steak. This is not a Delmonico steak. This is a prime ribeye bone-in. But some butchers name it as a Delmonico steak. Delmonico steak is a little bit different. Comes more towards the chuck end, and it's a little bit more chewy. And it's gonna be a little bit more flavorful, but it lacks in as much tenderness. Now, you can also always separate the ribeye cap from the ribeye itself, and that's what I did here. So this is a ribeye. Some people call it a ribeye fillet. So super awesome cut right here. This is one of the best cuts in my opinion. So, and again, thank you everyone for joining. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will be more than happy to answer as many questions as I can. But as you can see here, we have this amazing ribeye fillet. This is choice grade too. As you can see, it has decent marbling, but it's average supermarket beef, okay? Now, a lot of you guys have heard of the term Wagyu, A5, American Wagyu, Australian Wagyu, Kobe beef. What I have here is a full grass-fed American Wagyu. Now, from far away, you can see it doesn't have as much marbling. But if you look at it super closely, you can see almost that amazing snowflake marbling kind of just marbled there into the beef. And this will help it keep it really juicy and really tender. This one is a little bit more expensive than prime beef, only by a few dollars where I'm from. But talk to your butcher, they might have this. Australian Wagyu or A5 Wagyu. This is American Wagyu. I've never tried Australian Wagyu. Okay, we're back. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened. YouTube crashed on me. But we're back. So hello. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. We are back. Again, I'm so sorry. It looks like YouTube crashed on my end. But as I was saying, this is a grass-fed American Wagyu ribeye. I've never tried Australian Wagyu. Definitely want to try it one day. I did a video on A5 Wagyu. Wagyu is very fatty. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. It's very fatty. And it's very... love your videos. Thank you. Would I like to be a chef? Yes. Food's always been my dream. But as I was saying, Wagyu is very fatty. If you eat this entire steak, it's probably going to feel heavy on you. I would recommend sharing this with at least 4 to 5 people. So it would be kind of like 2 or 3 slices per person. Just because this steak is very fatty, and if you eat all of it, trust me from experience, you will feel very heavy and your stomach will probably hurt. Now, I get most of these steaks from my local butcher, so really talk to your local butcher, support local businesses. It helps them out a ton. and most of the time they have the best cuts that you could find, fresher cuts. If you have a whole animal butcher, go to them. You know, sometimes you can find big roasts on sale. Absolutely amazing. Um, I'm gonna have a video on dry aged steak this Friday, and as you can see here, this is my dry aged steak. Um, and it is pretty nice. Okay, so this is a ribeye, but it's technically a strip loin or a New York strip because as you can see, it doesn't have much of a fat cap, right? Not fat cap, spinalis or ribeye cap. But yeah, so this is going to lack a little bit more in flavor. But from that nice, tender, blue cheesy flavors of the dry aging process, it's gonna be absolutely delicious. You're a great chef. Thank you so much. Um, but yeah, I mean, we have all these different types of things. You inspire me to start cooking. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Okay. That means a lot. So I'm just gonna dry off my hands here. But there's always different types of steak, and it's always hard to choose which cuts of steak um, that or which cuts of steaks to choose. I would recommend talking to your local butcher, seeing what your butcher likes and recommends, and also seeing what's on sale. Sometimes anything that comes from the chuck end, we like to say that it is very tough and it's not as good. But more recently, I've been discovering things like the Delmonico steak, Denver steak, hanger steak, right? And a lot of those cuts come from the shoulder of the cow or the chuck, as other people call it. Um, you know, before I thought the only tender cuts were a fillet, a ribeye, and possibly a New York strip. But that's not true. There's so many other cuts of steak that are equally as good. And if you guys have any questions on certain cuts of steak, let me know. How do I like my steak cooked? I like my steak cooked medium rare to medium-ish. And also, depending on certain cuts, ask your butchers what temperature they recommend cooking that steak at. Some steaks are not good past rare. Some steaks are not good past medium rare. Some steaks are better cooked medium. Other steaks are better cooked well done. Okay, so you really have to talk to your butcher. Yeah, your favorite cut is New York strip. Yeah. So, um, I know a lot of people when you ask them what their favorite cut is, a lot of people say that their favorite cut is um, a tenderloin or a filet mignon. Filet mignon is one of the most well-known cuts in any restaurant just because of its tenderness. But it's so lean that it lacks in flavor. So um, I really recommend something like if you want something very premium, but you want it to be tender and have flavor, I would totally recommend getting a ribeye cap if your butcher sells it. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put this Wagyu away because the fat literally melts at room temperature, and we don't want this steak to become just a bunch of melted fat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it away, but just that one because we're gonna keep talking about steaks. Now, again, we have other cuts. Bone in really gives it that flavor. It helps maintain it juicy. Now, we have T-bone steaks. We have porterhouses. A porterhouse is it's essentially a T-bone. Okay, a T-bone. On one side there is a New York strip. On the other side there is a fillet. When the fillet is larger, it is considered a porterhouse. When it's tiny, it's considered a T-bone. I'm gonna go ahead and just list a few of my favorite steaks, and let me know if you guys have ever tried it. Um, so one of my favorite cuts ribeye, tri-tip, Denver steaks, and we'll go with New York strip, okay? Or no, sorry, picanha. For those of you that don't know what picanha is, it's a rump cap. It's attached to the top sirloin. It's very beefy. It's well known in Brazil, and it's absolutely delicious. I have a video on it. So if you guys are interested in watching the picanha video, it's on my channel. Go check it out. Let's see, London broil. I have tried London broil. It's really good in flavor, and it's pretty tender too. I believe it comes from the chuck end. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys, on any of this. I'm learning, just like some of you guys are. Awesome video, thank you. Now, so I'm gonna go ahead and name a few more cuts. But I know a lot of people like a tenderloin because it's so tender. But whenever you're looking for beef, what I look for is intermuscular fat, because it'll help the steak stay nice and juicy. So you can see these little white specks here, intermuscular fat. But, you know, it doesn't have to be loaded with intermuscular fat. It can just be, you know, anything really. Any type of fat, as long as it's not. For me, I don't like when it's too excessive in fat. If it's not Wagyu, all of it's not gonna render out. Okay. So I try to go in the middle. Not too much, not too little in the center. For me, choice and slightly above choice, so probably like premium is good. But prime is also pretty good too. It depends. Sometimes prime and choice look identical. You really have to check. But I was gonna say something. Oh, right. Some cuts have more marbling than others. So you can't compare a ribeye to a tri-tip. You can't compare a brisket to a fillet, because they're two different ways. Smoking meat is something totally different. Applewood, low and slow, as Max the meat guy says. But yeah, getting that smoke flavor is probably good. But that's typically only for brisket and ribs. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not big on barbecue. So yeah, but we have so many different elements when it comes to steak, and I feel like within choice, prime, and I know there's premium and select, but no one really uses premium and select. It's just choice and prime here. In the general US, choice and prime, I feel like within those there should be different categories, just like Australian Wagyu and Wagyu has BMS scores. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that choice or prime has a BMS score. But I feel like they should, because sometimes this right here, this Delmonico steak that I got from my local butcher is prime grade, but it's the highest quality prime you can get. It's the highest quality prime grade steak that you can get. And it's really good. I've tried it before several times. It's really good. What's the difference between A5 and A7? I've never heard of A7, but I know A5 to, the grading for Japanese Wagyu goes from A1 to A5, and the difference is just marbling and quality. So how much intermuscular fat it has will determine how much flavor it has, and will determine how tender it is. As I said, this Delmonico steak that I have here is the highest grade of prime, and it's super delicious. It's the highest quality I found. Absolutely delicious. And again, always talk to your local butchers. And then you have stuff like short ribs. I know sometimes short ribs, you cut it really thin against the grain, and you kind of quickly cook it on a hot grill or hibachi. You can do that. I've never tried it personally. I am gonna try it one of these days. But yeah, what seasonings do I use? Good question. For I just did a tri-tip video, and it's gonna be coming out very soon. But we seasoned it with this Blazing Star barbecue beef rub. This stuff is really good. Blazing Star barbecue. Thank you so much if you're watching this for sending me this. Truly has an amazing flavor, and no sugar, no MSG. It's keto friendly, and it's gluten free. But usually when it's a very high quality steak like Wagyu or this prime Delmonico steak, I'll go super simple, salt and pepper, and if I want a little extra flavor, I'll use a little bit of garlic powder. And yeah, I also wanted to say, for steaks, you'll always look at the grain. Ribeye is quite tender, and you can't really see the grain until you finish cooking it. So that's why it's pretty tender. If you look at it very closely, you can start to see a little bit of the grain, but it's very minimal. What do I think of Osmo? Osmo's salt is amazing. Nick, good job. Nick DiGiovanni, amazing job with Osmo salt. But something like a hanger steak is gonna have really long grains, and you want to cut it against the grain to get a really tender cut of steak. If you cut it with the grain, it's gonna be slightly more chewy, less tender, and overall you're missing out. So always cut against the grain. When you're cutting a roast, cut it with the grain so you can cut it against the grain. What's my favorite type of steak? My favorite type of steak has to be a medium rare ribeye. All-time favorite steak, absolutely amazing. I get a lot of questions asking what knife I use. So I use this Ken knife from Ken Knife Co. Super amazing, super amazing knife right here. Beautiful knife. I just made a video about it. So if you guys are interested in watching it, please let me know. Super amazing knife. Beautiful products. Go check them out. I have a link tree. Yeah. Well done. I'm not big on well done. I used to eat my steak well done before I really got into food. But I guess the furthest I'll go is medium well, and it really depends on the steak. Ribeyes are very forgiving because it has so much intermuscular fat. But something like a tenderloin, if you cook it to a well done, it's very lean and it doesn't have much flavor. How do I cut with the grain? I wouldn't recommend cutting with the grain, but you can see that a steak will have different fibers going like this. So you want to cut, if the fibers are going this way, you want to cut the steak this way. Okay, but if you want to cut with the grain, when it's raw, and you have a big roast, you're going to cut it this way, so your final cut will be this way. But yeah, do I watch Cooking with Linja? Yes, I do. She's amazing. Super good editing skills. Medium rare. Okay, for some steaks, I'll go medium. But something for like a tenderloin that doesn't have much fat to keep it juicy, I'm going medium rare. Let's see. If you guys have any questions on steak, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and put these back in the fridge just because I don't want them to go bad out here. But again, super amazing questions that are coming in here. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know. Um, and yeah, can I have a reply, please? Sure. Sugam Visuals. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. What's my least favorite type of steak? Ace Brothers Gaming. My least favorite type of steak. That's really hard. Okay, it'll have to be something like a chuck eye steak. Just because I don't know how to cook it that much. Brisket or picanha. Picanha. Although a really nice tender smoked brisket sounds really good. I'm not much into smoking meats, just because I don't have an actual smoker right now. Eye of Round. I know Guga Foods. If you guys don't watch Guga Foods, Guga Foods has a amazing history with Eye of Round and trying to tenderize it. It's a $1 steak, but I've seen that now that Eye of Round has gotten more popular, it's almost at about $10 a pound in the in general areas. So $20 a pound is a lot. Not $20, sorry, $10 a pound for Eye of Round using a roast. Sometimes it goes on sale for about $5 a pound here in the U.S. But I know there's so many ways to cook steak. Yeah, I mean, meat prices are definitely going up. Um, where I'm based, ribeye is about prime grade ribeye is about $32 a pound. It's quite expensive, but you know, yeah. Steak prices go up because before ribeye was about $10 a pound, maybe. It's going up. How do I think that vegan teacher feels about me? Don't think she's ever discovered my channel. That vegan teacher, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but I love my steak. Steak is delicious. But as I was saying, there's so many different ways to just even cook a steak. I get a lot of questions asking, you know, I get a lot of questions, Nicholas, Nico, how do you cook a steak? I cook a steak, usually just in a pan, but there's sous vide, reverse sear in the oven, smoking a steak. There is broiling it, grilling, charcoal grills, gas grills, and there's so many different ways. So it's amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in my freezer because some of these steaks are frozen and others aren't. But for the frozen steaks, I'm gonna go ahead and put them back in the fridge just so they don't spoil on me. Yeah, but that vegan teacher, I don't think she's ever discovered my channel, but if she's watching, oh. Okay, I got the steaks in there. Okay, I got the steaks back in the freezer. What's the easiest type to cook? I'm assuming you're talking about steaks. Easiest steak for me to cook. Any steak. Steak is generally easy to cook. A nice tender steak is usually really easy to cook. My favorite way to cook steak, salt, pepper on any steak that's tender and flavorful. You sear it in a cast iron pan, add some butter, rosemary, garlic, thyme, drop the heat, and baste until you get your desired temperature. It gives it some amazing flavor. You've been subbed since 20K. Thank you so much. I know I get a lot of comments saying, hey, I was subbed at 2K, subbed at 1K. Thank you all so much. Even if you're just new from watching this live stream, thank you all so much for the support. It means a lot. How do I like to season my steaks? Salt, pepper, garlic powder. I also on a tri-tip use this beef rub. Absolutely amazing. And another thing, when choosing a steak, a lot of steaks are frowned upon just because they come from a certain part of a cow. But talk to your butcher, ask what's tender, look at the grain, look at how much marbling it has, and see, look for deals. Tri-tip before, I thought it wasn't as tender. I tried it, and yes, it lacks a little bit in flavor compared to a ribeye. But using this amazing beef rub right here, it gave it some awesome flavor. So I really can't wait to do more stuff with this beef rub. But yeah, I have so many wonderful steaks for content and just stuff like that. So I can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing. I can already tell. But you know, there's different things like sous vide and stuff. Do I like flank steak? I haven't had flank steak in a while. A flank steak in a while. They're not as tender as some people would imagine, but they're good and they're affordable and they're at a lower price. What inspires me to cook the most? There's a lot of inspirations. I feel like the biggest inspiration is Max the Meat Guy. So, yeah. Do I ever cook any types of food? I remember a while ago I made fried chicken. I'm trying to get other content out. I'm gonna have a dessert recipe very soon. Yeah, Max the Meat Guy is awesome. I've been on his lives a few times. Really awesome guy. He's helped me out a ton with different cooking questions that I've had. Let's see. Why can't I check the comments? Oh, what's my favorite meal to cook and why? My favorite meal is a nice steak meal, maybe some garlic mashed potatoes. Really hits the spot. Do I like to cook with fish? Actually, yes. I have this is one this is about 1.5 to 2 portions ahi tuna. What we're gonna do is we're gonna sous vide this to pasteurize it and then give it a quick little sear ahi tuna steaks. The reason they're cut so small, I cut them so they can fit in this tiny vacuum seal bag, so they can just fit in a tiny water chamber. But yeah, super amazing stuff. I don't cook with fish that often, just because I prefer cooking with steaks, and I'm not good at filleting fish yet, so I'm back so you can see. What's my favorite dessert? Molten lava cake, chocolate molten lava cake. I have a recipe on that, it's really good. Let's see. Do I like sushi? I love sushi. Yeah, I love sushi. Let's see. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But yeah, so steaks are really amazing. You know, there's so many different varieties of steaks. And sometimes a steak isn't just beef. Isn't just beef. There's ahi tuna steaks. There are, pork chop steaks. And so many other different types of steaks. So, and talk to your butcher. There's all sorts of stuff like grass-fed. Grass-fed is, people say it's healthier. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of articles to back that up. It's a little bit more pricey, and it has a little bit less marbling, but it's still pretty good. You have to find, if you're gonna have grass-fed beef, you have to find the one that you prefer and the one that tastes better to you, because not all grass-fed are the same. Let's see. Is all my content gonna be based on cooking? For the most part, yes. If you guys have any suggestions on what else, let me know. Let's see. So many comments coming in. Sorry if I can't read all your comments, guys. What's my favorite side to eat with steak? My bacon truffle fries are so good. And I'm planning to revise that recipe and have another recipe in a few months. That recipe is so amazing. Garlic mashed potatoes. If you've tried Max the Meat Guy's garlic bombs, put the garlic bombs inside the mashed potatoes. Absolutely delicious. You can also do it with garlic confit. But garlic confit does not have or doesn't have the same flavor because I feel like garlic confit has too much oil to put in the mashed potatoes. Let's see. I love your videos. Have a great future with cooking. Thank you so much. I love your channels. I will always watch no matter what you post. Thank you so much. Let's see. Wagyu is Japanese beef. Wagyu just stands for Japanese cattle. Gyu is cattle. So, Wagyu is Japanese cattle. Let's see. Love your cooking videos. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Opinion on pork chops. I'm not big on pork. Yes, I do eat it. But maybe like once a month, once every 2 months. I don't enjoy pork as much as I enjoy beef. But I had a really good pork chop at a restaurant. And it was really flavorful, absolutely amazing. I know for steaks, I like my steaks rare, but for pork, I prefer fully well done. What do I think about lamb chops? Lamb chops are good. It's something that I prefer to eat on a special occasion. It's more of a special occasion type thing. I do cook racks of lamb, but I don't cook with it that much. What's my favorite appetizer? Favorite appetizer, probably sashimi, and that's what I'm gonna make right now. I'm gonna make ahi tuna sashimi. But when you're cooking fish, I would recommend getting sushi grade. That way, it's probably been pasteurized or frozen to kill off any parasites. I should join MasterChef and I could win. MasterChef's the dream. Gotta go, great content. Thank you. Let's see. 1 second. Okay. And again, thank you all so much for all the amazing support. If you guys don't follow me on other social media platforms, the link to that is going to be on my channel about. Please consider following me on Instagram and TikTok. Let's try to get to 1,000 followers on TikTok. TikTok has been one of those platforms that I have not been able to really get the following that I want to be able to share my food and my food content. I have 100K by the end of this year. Thank you so much. Let's hope we get to 100K by the end of the year. I would love that. Join MasterChef. I will surely win. I'll see if I can join MasterChef. I'm not sure when the tryouts are, but let me know what you guys recommend. Let me go get my other light because turn on my other light. It's starting to get a little dark. Let's see if that'll help. If not, I'll set up my other lighting. I think that's better. Yeah, thank you all so much. But again, please don't be afraid to talk to your butcher to get different cuts of steak. Talk to them. You know, we went over some cuts. If you missed it, I am gonna post this on my YouTube channel, and that way you guys can always refer back to this video when you want to choose steaks. So feel free to feel free to DM me on Instagram if you have any questions. Instagram is where I mostly follow my DMs. You can also DM me on TikTok. I don't think YouTube has a DM feature, so sorry about that. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining. We talked about different steaks, how to choose your steak, different varieties. We went all the way from dry aged to grass fed to Wagyu to choice prime, and so many other cuts. So I'm just gonna list how the grades go. I believe it goes from select to choice, and then I think it goes to premium. I'm not sure. Then it goes to prime, and then I would say after that it's Wagyu A5 and above. Yeah, but thank you all so much. And if you've been subscribed before 25K, or even after that, thank you all so much. It means a lot. We're almost at 26K, guys. So thank you all, everyone that has been supporting all my videos. So thank you all so much. I might be going live on Instagram later today. I'm not sure. But again, thank you all so much for joining. It means a lot. Let's see. If we have any final questions, I'll just wait like 5 minutes so we can add any more questions. And I will be more than happy to answer. If you don't have Instagram or TikTok to DM me, try commenting on one of my videos or on my community posts or on my stories, and I will try, and if I see it, I will try to get back to you. I'm so underrated. Thank you. It means a lot. We are going to, I'm gonna have some amazing content going out. I do have an exclusive series on my TikTok. I've kind of paused that for now because I want to have a little bit more content for YouTube. But I'm gonna have some amazing videos coming out, guys. I have some videos just for copyright that I can't post on YouTube, have music. Those are on my TikTok. So please go check that out. And yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And yeah, just let me know if you guys have any questions. I will be more than happy to answer any of them. What's my favorite kind of steak or of meat? I'm assuming you mean proteins. Tuna, a really fatty tuna like Toro sashimi. I really love that. Steak, beef, and probably chicken. I'm not really big on the whole bison, goat proteins, but, just the classic proteins. So beef, chicken, and probably Toro, and salmon. I tried the steak, put some flaky salt. Bussin', yeah. But let's see. I have some flaky salt from two of my favorite creators of all time. Got a cook named Matt's flaky salt collection. And we have this white flaky salt from Osmo, Nick DiGiovanni. I really love these two flaky salts. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, so yeah, thank you all for joining. I'm gonna go ahead and end this live here. If you guys have any last minute questions, feel free to put it here. If not, thank you to everyone that's joined. I am definitely gonna do more lives on YouTube. This was pretty fun. And I can't wait to be doing more lives. We've been live for almost 50 minutes now, almost an hour. So thank you everyone so much for joining. I'm sorry it cut out at the beginning, but we were able to come back. So thank you all so much, and have a really nice rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!